that what you eat or maybe aren't eating could be triggering your migraine attacks. I'm going to be breaking down this type of migraine trigger in today's video and chatting about ways that you can discover if you possibly have a diet-related trigger and what to do about it. So let's jump into it. My name's Casey. I share all things about living with migraine, about different prevention strategies and relief tools, and giving you my insights from my own lived experience along the way. If you've got a migraine-y brain and are very curious and want to connect and get this inspiration and strategy and all this stuff, make sure you hit subscribe. So I actually love chatting about this topic specifically because I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, so I love talking about diet and nutrition. So there's actually a few different ways that we can find diet triggering our migraine attacks, and ultimately a lot of this will come down, or maybe all of it, let me look at my list. For some reason I don't know what I thought. Ultimately, this all is going to come down to the fact that our migraine brains hate change. So any type of change can potentially be a trigger. There's a lot of different diet-related changes that we need to talk about though. So hydration, oh my God, I already know. Like, it's so annoying to hear, just drink water. Like that makes me want to gag. But hydration is extremely important for our migraine management, and dehydration can be a trigger. So like, this is essentially an internal change where our body experiences dehydration, and that can potentially be a trigger. We need to avoid that if possible. And if you're not drinking water, I guess start doing that, or have other hydrating beverages and foods. You can do that too. You may also find, similar to like the dehydration, we're lacking something. If you've missed a meal, skipped meals or late meals really sets us up for failure because that causes blood sugar changes. So staying really consistent with our eating routine can really help with blood sugar stability, and this will prevent migraine triggers from popping up. So skip meals is actually one of the more common reported triggers, and it's because it's impacting our blood sugar. And actually another thing that is related to blood sugar, because that's the thing that's happening inside of our body, we're experiencing fluctuations and changes that our brains don't like and they want to avoid it. Having unbalanced meals and snacks can obviously impact our blood sugar in a very similar way to missing a meal, and can set us up for failure and trigger an attack. So it's super important to have balanced meals and snacks and stay very consistent with how often we're eating. And I actually do have a series on my website that gives you a lot of different ideas for having balanced snacks, and I also have more resources I'll link below for you in the description that's all about like balanced eating. So the last one I'm going to chat about today is actually food sensitivities. So a lot of people will report that they have specific food triggers, and when they eat these specific items, it triggers an attack. And this is valid. I have triggers that are specific foods myself. I get it. So essentially what it is it's an immune reaction that increases our like inflammatory measures in our body when we eat a specific food. And because it's immune related, it is individualized, and it's just our body's just like acting silly. That's a weird way to put it, but acting silly when it faces a certain item. Like, thinking about food allergies is a similar thing to think about. Like, my fiance is allergic to peanuts. Peanuts are not bad for you, but if he eats them, he might die. Whereas like corn is not inherently bad for you, but if I eat it, my head's gonna hurt. So like, food sensitivities cause that inflammatory change in our body that is more personalized and can trigger an attack. So luckily, diet-related triggers, something that are more in our control. We might not be aware of specific things like hydration we need to stay on top of. We might not know what our specific food triggers are. If you're curious, I'll have resources in the description, of course. But starting to dial down on some of these basics like consistency and balance can really go a long way with our migraine prevention and avoiding possible triggers. So let me know in the comments if any of those possible triggers sound like they're ones that pop up for you. And again, make sure to check the description because I'll have all kinds of goodies for you there. And if you enjoyed this, you want to hear more, I have one more migraine trigger category to share with you. I have shared 2 other categories in the past. I make sure to link those below, but I have one more type of migraine trigger to share with you in the future. So subscribe so you don't miss it.